Good morning, everyone. Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. And I thought I'd kind of just have you come in on a workout with me. Today's Friday. It's my off day. I don't teach today. And I don't have any private setup for this morning, so I need to get some sort of exercise in before I get my day started. So I just got out of bed a little while ago. I laid in bed and since my phone is there, I just got a lot of work done, probably for about an hour before I decided to get my ass out of bed. Did the old, literally just washed my face and brushed my teeth, and I also did drink a quart of water. I haven't had my coffee yet, so it is early for me. I'm usually up late teaching, so I go to bed late. But anyway, my only off day of the week, Friday. Well, Wednesday as well, but I usually have privates in the morning Wednesday. But Friday is really my true off day. So I'm just gonna go over just some workout that I do. I normally don't work out in a rash guard, but I needed to have the rash guard so I can have this mic on here so I can talk to you guys. So what you want to kind of do is you want to kind of loosen up before you really start stretching out. So, as you'll see, I'm pretty tight. I'm not the most limber guy. Some people are very limber. I just never was. So that just kind of tells you that, do you need to be really flexible for jiu-jitsu? You don't. It helps. So I'm not saying don't stretch and don't be flexible, because it does help you a lot. But so the breathing, sorry, I just realized I was doing it. The breathing, what you want to do is you want to practice breathing out. So, a lot of people, when you say deep breaths, we go. The problem is when you do that, watch on the exhale, watch how much more I can actually exhale when I'm done exhaling. So watch. So one of the things that Dave teaches us, that Master Hickson teaches us as well, I was at Grandmaster Hickson's place, and I learned this over there as well, is that, as Hickson explains it, your lungs actually go down to your back. They're not just in here. So what you need to do is you need to think of squeezing your diaphragm to squeeze your lungs and to get all that carbon dioxide out, because when you breathe from the top of your lungs, as he says, you're only really cleaning out the carbon dioxide from maybe 30-40% of your lungs. So by squeezing your diaphragm, and the way I think about it is I think of pulling my diaphragm into my spine. And what that does is it compresses your lungs. So I kind of envision it as squeezing the carbon dioxide out of your lungs, because you don't want carbon dioxide still in your lungs, because carbon dioxide really is the waste product of used oxygen, right? So that's why we need to have plants around us, because plants are the opposite of us. So they take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So what you want to do is you want to find a way to increase the percentage of oxygen in your lungs so that your blood can be better oxygenated. So Hickson calls it hyperventilating. So when he would train, while he's using a lot of oxygen, you would hear him going, and he's doing it from his diaphragm. So you see his diaphragm moving. A lot of you guys have seen that choke video where he pulls in and he does all those, those movements with his stomach. Crohn's done it as well. And what he's doing is he's really just trying to use that diaphragm to manipulate his lungs to manage his breathing, because when you use your diaphragm to breathe, you're actually forcing more in and forcing more out. And when you're training, oxygen is what you need. You don't need water, you need oxygen, because without oxygen, you die, right? Without water, you die as well. But I think there's a, what is it? It's a number, just like it's 3 minutes, 3 days, and 30 days. I can't remember what it is. One of you can kind of refresh me on that. But basically, you can survive 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and then 30 days without food, something like that. But when you hyperventilate, you ever hear about when people, they start hyperventilating, they're sitting at the table and they start, so you tell them to breathe in a paper bag. So what happens, they're getting too much oxygen, and I think you can get too much oxygen. So you breathe, you hyperventilate, you breathe in a bag, and what that does is it brings your oxygen level down to where it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be at 100% oxygen, I think. So, but when you're training, you need to get as much oxygen into you as possible. So you need to make sure you breathe quickly. So I remember Hoist would do it as well. When I first met Hoist, Helson didn't really do it. But when I met Hoist for the first time in Hawaii, he was doing that. He sounded like a choo-choo train, really, is what it was. And then I saw it later on with Hickson. And it's because when you're using oxygen, you need to get as much oxygen coming in. A lot of times when you're tired and in a deficit while you're training really hard, is because you're suffering from a lack of oxygen. So anyway, that was kind of a tangent to just kind of what I was doing, and just kind of realized what I was doing. When I work out, when I'm exercising like this, that's what I'm doing. So now you know why, and it does help. So get yourself in the habit of it as well, so that when you're actually sparring, you're breathing, right? And a lot of times we hold our breath because, when you think about when you work out in the gym, when you're, let's say you're doing a bench press, but I don't have any bench press equipment here, so it's all push-ups. So I'm here, and what you do is when you're taking the bar down, that's a negative, and you're breathing in, right? And then when you do the positive, when you're pushing the weight away from you, breathe out. You hold your breath and you breathe out here. So it's right. But with jiu-jitsu, you want to breathe constantly. So you don't stop your breathing when you're doing a push-up. So here, and you just breathe. And you can even breathe, just don't stop breathing. You can just continue breathing, but you hear me talking, which means I'm breathing in and breathing out, right? And then when you stretch, you continue the breath. So many of you know that I recently went through shoulder surgery, so one of the things I need to do is I need to keep constantly stretching them, because it just hurts. Your range is kind of done. I used to be able to bang out 100 push-ups cold, but now because of the surgery, it does take some time to build back up. And many of you know I'm all for getting stuff fixed when things break. So if you do get injured and it's something that will not repair itself on its own, just get it fixed and go through the rehab, go through the punishment, so that you can enjoy this art that changes lives. So doing a workout on the day you're not training, it's what we call an active rest day. So you don't want to just do nothing. Now sometimes your body may require it, and you'll know when you do, but you want to kind of distinguish between when your body needs to have an active rest or when it needs to truly rest. And this really, just don't do anything, take that day off. And I'm on the mats 6, sometimes 7 days a week. Now even when I'm in the studio on the mats, I'm not training hard every day anymore, not like I used to. My body just can't take it. I can't recuperate as well as I used to be able to when I was in my 20s and 30s, even 40s for that matter. For me, it's just a matter of, oh, by the way, when you're doing butterflies, I recommend don't flap your legs like this. Instead, I pull my feet. I try to sit up on my heels as close as I can. And I just pull my feet and press my elbows down on my legs here. Judo push-ups. Stand up and base, break fall. 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 Stand up and base. Upa. So there's two upas. There's the flip over, and there's a flip under. Move. So instead of flipping and going above my left shoulder, instead of flipping my right leg over, I pull my left leg under. Here, here, and come back. And go the other way. Up and over, up and over. Up and over, up and under. Notice my hips still haven't touched the ground yet. Keep your hips in the air. Keep your hips in the air. One exercise that Professor Fernando in our Irvine studio likes to do is to roll over backward and then roll back over forward. So let's see if we can do this. I don't know if we're getting a good view of the mat here. Let me turn it down a little bit, see if this will work. I have a gimbal here, so I may not want to do it. So, do a backward roll, no hands. Land on your belly, turn, go the other way, tuck your shoulder in, and try to come back to where you started. And then do it on both sides. Still a little tight. On the other shoulder, tuck in, and here. Another thing, open guard, cross collar chokes. Now when doing these, try to keep your hips off of the ground, okay? So you have to flex the upper abs as well as the lower abs. Now when you're done, keep it up. I don't like to put my hands under here because what happens is you end up relaxing your hips on your hands. So I just keep my hands out here. I want to make sure I keep my abs tight. So when you feel like you need to release some pressure in your abs, grab your legs, pull in a little bit, take a breath, release, and hold up again. Okay, don't put your legs down. Right? Notice that I keep my head off of the ground as well. So do some neck exercises. Slide this neck over. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to hit. And also turn your neck from side to side. Try to remember to keep your hips off the ground. And then we do what's called the egg beaters. We go outside in and inside out. And now we'll do another one we do. Shoot your legs out 6 inches above the ground. Don't let them touch, don't let your feet touch the ground. You can come up and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, boy, I'm out of shape. Oh. And then stretch. So generally when doing upas, it's easy to want to just reach your arm out. But what that does is when you're actually doing the upa, it tends to make you upa this way and try to flip over, which is not a good way to do it. So try to envision just keeping your arms in tight and doing your upa like this. Now when doing it, make sure you bring your heels as close to your butt as possible. Keep your hips elevated and just roll. Now one thing to do is to make sure that you don't lift your head off the ground like this, so to speak, because what it does is it means you end up going sideways. What you want to do is move your head off to the side and go over here. And then that way, okay? Here, 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 here. Good. Breathe. And then stretch your abs. I always say just do this. When you're here, just relax your belly button down into the mat. Now one thing that you can do is once your abs are stretched out, you can make it even stretch more by squeezing your butt cheeks. And that pushes your pelvis more into the ground while your arms are still locked here. Makes your abs stretch even more. Also, we can do some sit-outs. Start one leg up here, you hop to here. Boom. I just touch my butt and I bounce and I come off. Boop, boop, here. Good. Now, if you want to work some neck exercises, don't pull on your necks too hard. One that we do in the studio is you reach over, so in this case, it's my right hand, left to you. I just grab on the other side of my head, and I'm just going to use the weight of my arm. I'm not going to pull myself this way. I just rest here, and now I just straighten up. Okay, I'm just doing 10. We usually do like 40. Now, as far as to work the back of the neck, I hang my hands like this, and same thing, just the weight of my arms here, and I just look up. It's weird as I'm doing this, I hear whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. Feels like somebody's rolling on the roof above me. But being that it's an exact sync with me doing this, I know it's me. So these I do a lot because of my shoulders.
So just kind of swing it and get it up to, I want it to be about eye level. Notice I'm bending my legs. I'm not letting my back go this way, okay? It's all legs. And when I'm pushing up, I'm actually squeezing my hips, okay? So get the momentum started, push hard with the hips, a little more. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I can do Russians if I want. Well, these are Russians. I can do Americans, I mean, but kettle bags, not quite as easy because they come falling down. See? So it's easier just to do the Russian version. I lost count, but what the heck. Let's call it 20. Usually I do like sets of 50 or 55, but not today. Now, do you need to have a long workout? No. Especially if you're going to be doing other stuff throughout the day. Just get some body flowing in your body. Like they say in, you know, if you're just a normally sedentary guy, just pick stuff up, move it, put it down somewhere else, right? Even something as simple as just doing this. That will help you. Simple, right? Just do some squats. So now, one thing is when you squat, make sure your knees are not going over your toes like this. So you see how this part of my leg is bending forward? You'd like to keep it as close to perpendicular to the ground as you can. Try to get this line to be parallel to the ground. And what I would say is wiggle your toes. That kind of lets you know that you're not putting undue pressure on your knees. Now, there's also sissy squats, which most people cannot do, and I don't know why. I've always been able to do them. What you would do is you typically have you start off with a weight, and you kind of have your hand against a wall, and then you make sure that you imagine someone pulling you this way while you squat, okay? So you're not gonna stay flat on your feet, you're gonna be in the balls of your feet. So if you need to stabilize, use a wall or a railing or something, or a bar, but really it's just like this. Here, you wanna make sure you keep your hips out. When you come back up, don't push it back and come up, okay? So we'll see how it goes. See if I can do it today, right? Here, wait. Here, and then here. Let's do one more. Good. Sissy squats. All right, so just loosen up, breathe, just let everything hang, relax your neck, shoulders, arms. Remember, just think base, base. And that's all I'm gonna do for now. So I gotta get going today. I'm gonna grab some water, have some coffee, shower, and I'll be on for my day. So it's about 9:50 in the morning. So all this, you can probably look at the timer on here, I don't know, but probably no more than 30 or so minutes. So actually we're at 26, And I spent a lot of it talking about breathing. So you can be easily finished with this inside of 20 minutes. And you know, if you really have no time and you can't seem to make time, what I always tell my students is this. You shower every day, I assume, right? Before you jump in the shower, turn the water on. It's going to take a minute or two for it to get hot. Just bang out some push-ups, some squats, and if you have some time, some sit-ups. And full sit-ups. Don't just do crunches, because crunches only work part of your abs. Or if you're going to do crunches, put your legs up like I was doing. Keep your hips off the ground and then do the crunches. So that'll work your entire abdomen. So you can do push-ups, jump squats or squats, and some quick sit-ups. All that in about 2 minutes. And at a minimum, it'll get you started. And if you can do that right before you shower every time, you'll be much better off than doing absolutely nothing. So anyway, that's all I got for you right now. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.